Sadie is visiting New York City to see the Empire State Building. She is 100 feet away when she spots it. To see the top, she has to look up at an angle of 86.1 degrees. How tall is the Empire State Building? So the first thing that we want to do is we're going to draw this out. So we're going to pretend like this is the Empire State Building. It's a pretty much exact replica. I know, I can draw really well. And Sadie is 100 feet from the base of this building. So we'll say that Sadie is about right here. And in order to see the top of the building, she has to look up at an 86.1 degree angle. So we can kind of imagine that this right here is kind of her line of vision. And we know that the angle that she's looking up at this with is 86.1 degrees. Okay, we also know that she is standing 100 feet away from the base of that building. And what we're looking for is how tall is the Empire State Building. So this is not the Empire State Building. The Empire State Building would not be leaning on its side. And even if it was the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I still don't think it would be leaning that much. So this right here is what we're looking for. We're looking for the height of the Empire State Building. So when we set this up, the first thing we want to do is we want to label where our angle is. So here's our angle, which means this is where theta is going to be. We know that this is our right angle, so here's our hypotenuse. Across from theta is the opposite side, and right next to theta is the adjacent. So which of these three do we not need? Well, we don't need the hypotenuse because there's no measurement information, or that's not the one that we're looking for. We're looking for the opposite. We have the adjacent. So the trig function that uses opposite and adjacent is the tangent. So we are going to do the tangent of theta, which is the opposite over the adjacent. So theta in this case is 86.1, and it's equal to the opposite, which is what we're looking for, over the adjacent, which is 100. Because the number is in the denominator, we're dividing by 100, so how do we undo dividing by 100? We want to multiply by 100. So we know that these two are going to reduce to 1. And when we do this, we can just type that in exactly, 100 times the tangent of 86.1, and here's our answer. So we're going to round that to the nearest foot, just because it makes sense to do that rather than round to the nearest tenth. So this would be 1,467 feet tall.